I'm here with Daniel Epstein. Shh, please. We're limited in time. Quiet. Thank you. Jesus. Thank you. Okay, great. So we're here with Daniel Epstein. The applause sign is broken, clearly, of Unreasonable Institute. And it's an honor to have you.
Yeah, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. That applause was like 2 minutes late. It's like thunder. You know, they're a mile away. But they just wanted to come in late to give it that complete awkward first date.
That's right.
Feeling. So Unreasonable Institute, super inspiring. You're here in Boulder, Colorado, but you're also everywhere. Can you just give us a outline, the elevator?
What we're doing?
Of what you are and what you're doing.
Yeah. Are you familiar with an institute? It was called the Highlander Institute.
Oh, you're right, with the sword and the whole.
That's another one. Right. That was another one. Well, the Highlander Institute existed really in the 1950s and 60s.
Okay.
And its mission was to combat the greatest social ills of its time. 1950s, 1960s, in the South, that was racism, racial inequity. Now, what most people don't know is the Highlander Institute trained both Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks for 3 months before they went out on their campaigns for social action.
I didn't know that. Did anyone know that? I didn't know
Nobody
that.
does.
Wow.
So our goal today is to become the Highlander Institute of the 21st century.
Except with a lot more publicity.
With a lot more publicity.
Right.
And I think the big difference for us, though, is that we believe the issues we face today, they're no longer national, they're no longer regional, they're not bound by borders, they're transnational. And that the best solution, the most effective solution in our hands is not social action, it's entrepreneurship. And embedded in entrepreneurship, the market forces that can really scale to meet the size of these issues.
That's one of the many things I find inspiring about your unique model is that, so you are taking entrepreneurs from all over the world. What are some of the countries? India?
All over. Largest demographics, India. This past summer, we had 26 entrepreneurs, 17 countries, 6 continents,
right.
all over the world.
Africa, everywhere.
Africa, Nigeria, Argentina.
Africa and Nigeria.
I was just being specific.
Right. And your criteria is that these have to be entrepreneurs whose business solution helps more than 1 million people. Is that correct?
That's the aspiration.
Right.
Absolutely. We really believe in Google's philosophy. They say they'd rather achieve 60% of the impossible than 100% of the possible. And so we challenge our entrepreneurs, think up business models that can effectively solve a problem for at least 1 million people. Let's try to achieve that.
So what are a few of your favorite sort of problems and solutions that these entrepreneurs have?
Yeah, I could give you a few. One, Nemeka Ikiguano, he's from Nigeria. Most people don't know this about Nigeria. Population is just over 170 million people, so it's the most populous country in Africa. And out of that, over 100 million are smallholder rural farmers. And so Nemeka is and was a smallholder rural farmer himself. And when he was growing up, he realized that his neighbors, they didn't have access to information. When he looked around, he realized there weren't televisions, there weren't computers, there weren't cell phones.
I know there's computers because I get an awful lot of emails, right? You have to make that
That's
joke.
true. That's true.
From Nigeria.
That's from the city, though.
Right.
Yeah, not rural. But the one thing that everybody has in Nigeria is a transistor radio. And so Nemeka started a radio station. It's called Smallholders Rural Farmer Radio. Not very original, but it speaks to what they do. He broadcasts timely, relevant information about what to produce, for whom to produce, what the prices are, what the weather is going to be like. Now, what's amazing is there was an impact analysis done on his work by the UN, and they saw that within 6 months of listening to his radio show, the average listener doubled their household income. So incredibly simple solution. It's an appropriate technology. The reason I love that story is because Nemeka is his own customer. He's not one of us coming from Boulder, going over to Nigeria and trying to do something that's over-sophisticated. We also work with entrepreneurs at a very different end of the spectrum, like Mishkin Agrawal. Mishkin, incredible entrepreneur. He was out of MIT, originally from India, and he was working as a consultant at McKinsey. Thought his life was great, and he decided to take a break, though, and motorcycle ride across the subcontinent of India with his close friend. He flies out to Mumbai, goes to find his friend 2 hours north of the city in a village. Turns out his friend's a doctor, and he's performing a birth in one of the huts. So Mishkin waits outside of the hut. This is Mishkin's story, but he says an hour goes by, 2 hours goes by, 6 hours goes by. His friend walks out of the hut, and he can tell instantly something went wrong. And he looks at his friend, and his friend says that both the mother and the baby girl had died in the pregnancy, or birth. And so Mishkin asked, what happened? And he said excessive bleeding, which is caused by postpartum hemorrhaging, which is anemia, one of the most preventable diseases that exists, and yet it's the #1 killer of women during birth.
Somewhat easily preventable if,
Very easily.
if the resources are there. Yeah.
So what really frustrated Mishkin is half a mile away, he had ridden his motorcycle by a health clinic where subsidized by the government were free iron tablets, which is the solution to anemia. So the problem wasn't that there wasn't access to treatment, it was detection. And how it currently happens across India is you need a specialist where they don't exist. They have to go into these villages, they have to convince the women to draw their blood, which is really hard to do, prick their fingers, draw the blood, go back to the lab, come back to the village with the results. It never happens.
So let me guess, he leaves his well-paying job and he
it.
starts some sort of solution for rural.
Absolutely, for people.
Or?
Yep. So he created a device, fits in the palm of your hand, and has a little clamp on it. You can put it on your pointer finger, and it shines light on your finger. It's non-invasive, doesn't draw blood, reflects and refracts off the amount of hemoglobin in your blood with over 99% accuracy, tells you if you're anemic or not instantly on the spot.
So this was his, so then he emails the Unreasonable Institute, says, this is my idea, but I don't really have the resources, I need advice, I need investment. Is that your role?
Absolutely.
And then they come here to Boulder, and they all live together for a summer.
Yep. So we take 26 entrepreneurs like Nameka, like Mishkin, and we help them answer really a basic question. How do you go from 5,000 customers to 1 million? How do we get you there quicker? So not a basic question. Easy to ask, hard to perform.
No, that's great. So, but they actually all do come and live together in this frat house or mansion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We call it the Unreasonable
both.
Mansion. It's both. It's a frat house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you bring in all kinds of mentors.
You got it.
Brilliant, good-looking, kind of rich,
people
powerful.
with beards and good boots.
Right.
Waylon is an unreasonable mentor.
Yeah, I'm psyched. I have no idea how I got accepted. I think it was a little paperwork accident, but I'll take it.
No, you got it.
And so all these mentors come in and give them advice on how to grow their business, how to connect with their customers.
Absolutely.
And then you also bring in VC, right?
Yeah, we bring in investment. So the two things we think, really three things that are critical for these entrepreneurs. One is an international community, a global network of peers and support. Hence 26, 25 entrepreneurs from all around the world. Second is mentorship. We don't have a curriculum. We're intentionally unintentional with that. And instead, yes, business is business. There are some deliverables we want everybody to walk out with, but really business is people. So for us, it's about mentors, right? Bringing the individuals who have achieved the level of success our entrepreneurs want to themselves. And then to get there, leveraging what's effective is really important. So venture financing is critical. But you can imagine the energy is palpable. 25 entrepreneurs, 20 countries, 50 mentors from all around the country who are incredible serial entrepreneurs, 30 venture capitalists from around the world. Put them in the same house, 3 chefs, 3 meals a day. Everybody's brushing their teeth together.
And they're working night and day.
Night and day. Yeah. Because they're CEOs of companies. And so our entrepreneurs in China, they may be at the Institute all day working with mentors, working with peers and investors. At midnight, they have to run their company.
And in the 2 minutes we have left, let's get into the, you have many partnerships going on. I think Fast Company, right, is partnered with you guys on doing a sort of real world, but the sort of meaningful entrepreneurial version of that summer in the frat house. The publicity you guys are getting is incredible. You were just on the cover of the business section of the New York Times, where they, it wasn't complete, it was a brilliant article, but they said something that I'm sure can't be true, which is that you have the word unreasonable tattooed across.
That's not true.
Butt,
That's
right?
not true. It's the logo. It's not the word.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had to touch on that. It's important to clarify that. It's the logo, not the word. And then you were just in ABC last week, right?
That's right. That's right.
So why do you think you're getting such immense press? Why are people so inspired about business?
You know, I think actually my friend who's here, Will Butler, he told me that those who can't do teach, those who can't do or teach run institutes. And what I mean by that is we're bringing in some of the most compelling entrepreneurs in the world. Their stories are worth telling. And so I think it's decently easy for us to get some noteworthy and pretty incredible press when you bring in these 25 people who are trying to change the world. And you see what happens when you put them all together. Yeah. You know, another side to that is just treating people really well. You know, we have a lot of great relationships with people in media because we love working with each other.
Right. Yeah. So, well, we're out of time, but I do want to say that in a time of Citizens United and all this, it's amazing to see sort of business become the force for being a benefit to others.
Absolutely.
And I've never been more personally inspired going to all these conferences than when I met a bunch of your entrepreneurs last summer at Lohas here in Boulder, and to hear their stories and from saving women having to walk, carry water on their heads all day, through a system, a little wheelbarrow, water barrel thing. I mean, all the stories are amazing. So Unreasonable Institute, check it out, Daniel Epstein.
Thank you.